Your 50K margin is dead, and it died because you made your team follow 40 rules that don't exist anymore. You stand before your steering committee with a project that is already $50,000 in the hole because you forced 40 obsolete compliance processes. Your team just wasted 500 hours filling out rigid legacy templates instead of writing functional software. You are bleeding massive administrative overhead because you are stubbornly managing your launch like it is 2017. You are actively failing your team and your stakeholders right now. I am PM Panda, a veteran with 25 years in project delivery who once had to tell a board we were broke with 40% of the work left. This specific failure destroys your corporate career because modern executives do not pay you to blindly check 40 administrative boxes. They pay you to deliver actual strategic value, and losing a $50,000 margin to bureaucratic waste makes you an immediate liability. I once watched a project manager let rigid PMO templates completely delay a critical product launch until the market window slammed shut. The company lost millions, and that manager was replaced before the week ended. If you choose process compliance over actual product delivery, your career will suffer the exact same fate. To survive, you must master the core architectural shifts inside the newest PMBOK framework. First, we have the 5 focus areas, technically known as initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closing. Instead of treating these as a rigid linear sequence, you must overlap these 5 focus areas dynamically to fit your real-world project environment. Next are the 6 refined principles, which streamline the old 12 guidelines down into actionable rules like focusing on value. Finally, the framework introduces 40 integrated processes, which are non-prescriptive tools directly embedded inside the performance domains for tailored project execution. Let me halt this lecture right here because if you are nodding along, comfortably thinking this is just abstract academic theory, you are almost certainly the exact project manager whose budget is actively bleeding out. You were hired to be a strategic delivery leader who drives value, not a glorified corporate bureaucrat who blindly forces a bloated 40-step compliance checklist onto a modern development team. If you choose to ignore this radical integration of mindset and mechanics, your very next performance review will focus entirely on your financial failure. The financial numbers I'm about to tear apart in the next slide represent the exact trap your project sponsor will question first during your next steering meeting. If you do not understand how to protect your baseline right now, you are walking into a career ambush completely blind. Pay close attention to this math or prepare to explain to your executive board why your deliverables cost an extra $50,000. Let us look at a real scenario involving an international hospital software upgrade where the initial planned value is set at $200,000. Instead of tailoring the 40 non-prescriptive processes found in the modern framework, you foolishly mandate every single legacy administrative artifact from older methodologies. Your engineering team shifts their focus away from core software development and spends 500 hours writing useless compliance documentation. You burn through your entire $200,000 actual cost allocation just paying for these wasted administrative hours. Now your baseline is shattered before the software is even fully functional. To see the damage clearly, we must calculate the cost variance using the formal project management formula CV EV ACTO. Your planned value was $200,000, and your actual cost is also $200,000, but your earned value for the working software completed is only $150,000. When we calculate this explicitly, we subtract the actual cost of $200,000 from the earned value of $150,000, which equals a negative $50,000. Your profit margin is completely gone because you prioritized obsolete compliance over real value. Here is what most people get wrong after 25 years of watching budgets die in the trenches. First, practitioners mistakenly assume the 5 focus areas represent a strict return to old waterfall phases rather than dynamic, overlapping activities. Second, managers treat the 6 new principles as abstract, useless theories instead of using them as literal boundaries for tailoring daily work. Finally, lazy project managers completely forget to tailor, trying to force all 40 processes into a small project instead of adapting the tools to fit their specific corporate environment. The immediate fix requires you to stop acting like a helpless victim of your PMO. Open your comprehensive project management plan today and physically cross out 3 mandated reports that do not directly map to one of the 6 new principles. Replace those bureaucratic documents with a streamlined tailoring log that justifies exactly which of the 40 processes your team will actually use. Force your stakeholders to agree to this lightweight governance structure before the next billing cycle. This single action eliminates administrative waste and immediately protects your financial baseline from further bleed. When you face this concept on the professional certification exam, the questions will deliberately try to trap you. The exam will present a scenario where a project faces heavy regulatory scrutiny, and the trick answers will tempt you to strictly follow every historical process. Do not fall for it because the exam expects you to select the tailored approach that adapts the 5 focus areas to the specific scenario. While weak practitioners in the real world hide behind rigid templates, the exam demands you act as a flexible leader who prioritizes strategic value. Remember how you started this journey $50,000 in the hole because you forced 40 outdated compliance steps on your struggling team. By applying the modern framework's 5 flexible focus areas and 6 refined principles, you completely eliminate that administrative nightmare. You strip away the useless documentation waste, tailor your tools to the actual work, and successfully defend your financial baseline from corporate decay. You transition from a failing checklist administrator into a highly effective delivery professional who consistently commands respect from the executive board. If this blunt breakdown saved your project from financial ruin, hit the like button right now so I know to keep producing these guides. Subscribe immediately if you want one raw practitioner lesson delivered straight to you every single week. For your immediate homework, open your project work breakdown structure today and ruthlessly cut one unnecessary administrative task that is wasting your team's time. Stop managing like an amateur and go protect your margin.